So, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, and welcome to Art on Stacks right here on X every Tuesday at 2 p.m. ET. For the next few weeks, we are going to be guiding you through the Stacks DeGrants funding program. And so today we are going to kick it off by introducing you to the wonderful stewards who will be supporting you through the application process and the voting as we move through the program. I'd also like to welcome our guests, our special guest Longstreet, behind the Leather Lounge account, or behind the Leather account. Leather is now officially been renamed to the Leather Lounge.
That's right.
I'd like to welcome you. Hi, Longstreet. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, very good. Thank you. So excited to have you here for our special little guest host show. It means I can sort of kick back half the time and not do anything, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I was honored last week when you invited me to take part in this space. And the DeGrants program has been, on my radar since cohort 1. And really, it's been amazing to see this grow and to see how you've been so proactive in, adopting and advancing the culture around the DeGrants program. So thanks so much for inviting me.
Yeah, always. I mean, for those who don't know, Longstreet and I have been friends for, I'd say, about 3 years now. So we've had a wonderful journey through the Stacks NFT kind of community, right, for quite some time now. So it's really great to be actually doing this and being on stage. This is our first time. Oh, no, we did it at the Leather Lounge before. But yeah. All right. And then to my beautiful co-host, Nietta, who gets out of bed at 4 a.m. every morning, every Tuesday to join us. Thank you and welcome. How are you? Are you awake? Are you there, Nietta? All right. Well, maybe she's moving around a bit at the moment. She's digital nomading. So
yeah, I see a thumbs up.
I think she's got a problem connecting wherever she is in the world. Right, and also just a huge welcome to Hero, who has inspired me along this journey. So good to have you here, my little facilitator. And then, there's Tank. Let me get her up here. All right, and then to the stewards. Just such an incredible group of people that I've been so fortunate to bring together for this program, to have on board, from Keletso, who is just a very interesting person. She's a geologist, which just brings sort of a very special flavor to her nature photography. So thank you for coming and joining us today, Keletso. To Tank, who I met recently and who we've become very good friends very quickly, and lots of exciting creative juices flowing there. So thank you to Tank.
Hello.
Keletso. I must mention, Keletso is, let me just also tell you who they are on the thing, although we'll go through it a bit later. Keletso is heading up the photography side of things, and then Tank is heading up the film. So hi to Tank, and then to Grymm. Grymm is heading up art, and then brand new to both Stacks and our show is the most incredible woman, Sarah Bullen. Such an honor to have her here tonight. And she's going to be helping those who are interested in bringing literature to NFTs. So those are the stewards. I'm going to be representing the music side of things.
Good morning.
Are you there?
GM.
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just Yeah, I'm still learning my digital nomad PC issues.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it now. I know when I don't hear you, I'm like, oh dear, where is she gone? What internet has she got now?
Meta, a tip, like always have a mobile data available in case, and you can
Oh
set
yeah,
up
no,
like a
it's I've
hotspot.
got a brand new PC. I've got a brand new phone that I got yesterday. The internet here is good, but my old PC was like about 9 years old, and I was so good with it. It was like a monster machine, and now I'm getting used to this little small thing, and the sound's been an issue where it goes all static when you speak. So we've been trying to work through it. So I'm doing a new test browser today. So I do apologise for the bit of confusion earlier. But hello, everybody, and welcome, and thank you, Longstreet, for co-hosting today. So now, Good Kitty, get
Absolutely.
back
Yep.
to it.
Very excited to get it going here.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do it. So I thought before we kick it off, before I sit back and enjoy the show, I thought I'd quickly just take you through, what the Stacks DeGrant funding program is, just a very brief introduction. So I am the lead steward for the NFT track, and there are within the Stacks DeGrants program, there are 5 separate tracks: the NFTs, community and governance, DeFi, developer, BNS, and then a general category to submit your own project that doesn't particularly lie within the specified tracks. And then each track is facilitated by a group of stewards who have all designed their own programs based on the needs of their specific communities, right? And then the tracks will run weekly Twitter spaces to support their goals. They'll be inviting community involvement, providing updates, and offering specialized mentorships to applicants. It's basically an initiative that's been funded by the Stacks Foundation, but designed and developed for the Stacks community by the Stacks community, which makes it an extremely unique program because we are really able to engage with the community that we're part of to discover new talent within the ecosystem and then to help it grow in this very transparent and engaging environment where all of us, from the stewards to the applicants, are able to learn things. So it is a very wonderful program. I've been through it myself previously on cohort 1. So I'm really looking forward to diving into cohort 2. I would like to encourage everybody, just talking about the program quite briefly. If you do want to get some more info, we have a GitHub. We also have a communications hub on console. And there is a website or a page on my website at goodkitty.xyz where we have a lot more information if you guys would like to go and read up about it. The applications are opening on Friday, so that'll all be live by then for you to go and check out. So basically, as I've explained, there are these 5 tracks within the DeGrants program. Our particular track is the NFT track to represent the NFT community. And really what we're looking for here is for creative innovation on Stacks across our own 5 categories, which are art, music, film, photography, and literature. That's why the 5 different stewards, because each of them are going to represent one of those categories inside the program. And we're looking for really groundbreaking projects that can make Stacks NFTs more engaging, more accessible, more rewarding for both artists and collectors, and that sort of push the boundaries of what's possible with the NFTs. We're interested in both cutting edge traditional art projects. And we're also inviting builders to come forward with products and platforms that may enhance the creator collector experience. We really want to build the NFT community here on Stacks into something special. And we're here really today to invite you to join us on what I hope is going to be a very creative journey. So, yeah, I think that about sums up the program. Like I said, if you do need any more info, it's at goodkitty.xyz for now. And then just a quick ask from you guys before we kick off the conversation. If I could ask that you just share the room. I'm very excited about today's lineup and talking to the stewards. So, yeah, if you could let everybody know that we're here, that'd be great. All right. So that's kind of my intro. Now I think over to my two friends, longtime OGs in the Stacks ecosystem, both incredible artists who are passionate about NFTs and also just about breathing life back into the creator collector experience here on Stacks. So it's really wonderful and a great honor for me to have the both of you here today leading the show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kicking back, and I'm going to hand it over to you guys.
Thanks so much, GK. That was a fantastic intro. You really laid everything out beautifully there. So just for anyone listening, if it is your first time, check out the DeGrants program, jump into the console, and just start interacting as much as you can with anyone here, because even if you don't necessarily have some project in mind, maybe you don't know exactly, what you would want to do with this sort of organization, start interacting with everyone right now and make those introductions, and then your path forward will start to materialize, and you'll realize how you can contribute to the space and who you can connect with. So that being said, Nietta, what do you say? Should we get started with Grymm here?
Get started, and also to let the artists know as well that there is a section in the console where you can put in your artwork memes so it can get some exposure. So it's a DeGrants Art and Memes little channel, and there's opportunity you throw it in your artwork. So whether you're part of the community, whether you're part of DeGrants, either way, just throw it in there and we can all have a look and support the arts people that are building art on Stacks. So let's get started.
Also, artists, please make sure that or stewards, I should say, please make sure that you have some tweets ready for us to put up into the nest. So, Grymm, welcome to the stage.
Hello.
For the art steward category, we have Grymm, and Grymm is someone that I've known for a long time in the space. I've collected basically everything that she's ever dropped on Stacks. So it's a real pleasure to connect with you here and turn things around and ask you questions. How are you doing today?
Good morning.
I'm good. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like I have the same spiel every week, but it's truly such an amazing thing, being in the Stacks ecosystem kind of as long as we have, to be able to be giving back to it and encouraging people to join it and all that good stuff is so exciting. And unfortunately, I'm only going to be able to stick around for a little bit. I'm kind of glad I'm going first because it was my husband's birthday yesterday, and he was at work the whole day, and so we've got lunch reservations at 12:15, and it's I don't even know what time it is right now, but it's a little past 11, so luckily I can hang around for a little bit. But yeah, I'm so happy to be here and so excited, and I'm so honored that everyone puts up with me, especially Good Kitty and Nietta put up with me every week and let me come on here and just chat complete nonsense.
Put up with you.
All right.
You're
You bring the good vibes, and we need Grymm in every space, every DeGrants space. We need Grymm.
100%.
Exactly.
Grymm, how are you feeling?
I mean, who is Grymm, for anyone wondering? Because I completely skipped your intro, Grymm. So before we check in on your, before I ask you to introduce yourself and your background in the Stacks, let me just give a quick little intro. So Grymm is a versatile digital artist, a painter, photographer, now based in the USA. And Grymm creates captivating, surreal artwork using various media, including NFTs and Bitcoin ordinals as well, and sparking curiosity and creativity with unique visual narratives. And I know this personally because, she checked in on me just to ask how things were going. And I just filled her in on, what was going on in my life. And she started creating like a bespoke piece based on, what I was talking about going on in my life. So that's one of the amazing things. So Grymm, since time is of the essence, could you give us a little quick intro into how you discovered the Stacks ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. And thank you for mentioning. I'd kind of forgotten that I did that piece. And I'm like, I was meaning to, I want to send it to you, but obviously, and it'd be easier because it's back in my house in the UK, just quickly. And my dad can mail everything. So if you want the piece, because it's basically just sitting in my room, not doing anything, because I can't really sell them anymore because I'm not there. So if you want it, let me know and I'll get my dad to mail it to you, because it'll be UK to France. So it won't
That'll
be
be easy. Yep.
too much of a mission, hopefully, because I've learned that the American postal system since moving here, wow, it's a lot to deal with. But no, yeah, I kind of got into Stacks because I was making art kind of when I was at uni. I'm just trying to remember exactly what year it was. It was 2022 that I started getting involved, I think. Yeah. And so I was at uni and I was doing art on the side, and Good Kitty, my lovely, wonderful aunt, reached out to, I think, well, her and my dad um had been, doing NFTs and crypto, and I'd always kind of been interested in it, but I'd never really understood it very well. I was like, it's too technical. I can't be bothered. I'm a mere artist. That's not for me. And then Good Kitty reached out and was like, no, it is for you. And told me all about it, and I was like, oh, why have I not been doing this sooner? This is fantastic. And so I jumped in, luckily with Good Kitty holding my hand the whole way, or I would have had a complete nervous breakdown. And I've just been having fun. And I took a kind of a break because I needed a little bit of a break. And about 6 months later, I've moved countries and, done a whole bunch of stuff. And now I'm jumping back into it. I've got a generative collection that I'm working on, and, a collection, an fine art collection as well. And hopefully I got offered a trial shift at a job and stuff, so hopefully I get that, and then me and my husband can move into our own place, and then I can start painting again. So everything's just great, and I'm just really happy, and I hope everyone else is really happy. And I've kind of gone on a tangent, but yeah, it's just, if anyone's listening and wondering if they should get involved in Stacks, do it. It was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. You won't find a nicer, more supportive, and more collaborative focused community, in my opinion, on Web3. It just doesn't exist, because I think Stacks is the standard, but yeah, I'm slightly biased. But anyway, yeah, so that's me.
Yeah, that's a great one.
So for anyone new to any artist listening in, what would you want to tell them and express about the main challenges that you see facing NFTs and NFT artists in the space?
I think the kind of, I don't know if elephant in the room is the right thing, but obviously Stacks was, well, I mean, it's the bull market and the bear market. I'm so good with my technical terms. But obviously there was a massive boom with Stacks, and it's coming back, but there was a notable kind of shift when ordinals and everything started happening. And so I guess I would say to artists that stick with it. Don't do what I did and disappear for 6 months. Or do if you need the break. But there's so much going on, and there's so much going on behind the scenes, and just because you might not necessarily right away get a bunch of sales or get a bunch of exposure straight away, just keep working at it, because and reach out to the people in the community, because there's so many people that want to help you, and there's so many people that believe in Stacks. And try not to be too hard on yourself, I guess, would be my main advice, because it's so easy to compare yourself in this space where everything's online, right? And you can literally look up someone's just like that, you can find out all this kind of information about other artists' sales and stuff like that. Don't take it as a personal kind of, not attack, but don't take it as a marker on your kind of success, that just because someone's doing better than you are, or you're not quite at the place that you want to be at, just keep working at it and you will get there eventually. And it might be a little bit of a longer process than you ideally want it to be, but it will happen because this community is lovely and supportive. And yeah, just keep working hard and reach out to people. I think they're my two biggest things. Don't be too hard on yourself and reach out to people in the community, because everyone in Stacks wants to help each other and wants to see everyone succeed. So yeah.
So what about artists who maybe they have experience, IRL making physical art, but maybe they're just now getting exposed to like NFTs? How is it different? And if any artists are curious about applying for grant funding, what would your advice be to someone new to digital collectibles, NFTs, especially ones that want to seek grant funding?
I think that if someone feels that they have an idea, like, they should apply. Just point blank. If you feel like you've got an idea and you believe in your idea and you're desperate to make the idea happen, apply. Like, what's the opportunity is too great to kind of risk not applying. And just that I've wanted to be an artist since I was like, God, I don't even know, like 8 years old or whatever, and it's like there's so many opportunities here that, if you just do a little bit of like looking around and like Web3, because it's scary as well. Like, it's someone who came into it, like, when you first start off, no one knows what the hell's going on. It's like, what is this? Like, so it's like, it's very intimidating, but absolutely take the opportunities that it gives us, because I would not have a chance in like a lot of the fine art world, because, for fine art, for what I want to do, a lot of it's super competitive. A lot of the fine art industry is incredibly elitist, and it's incredibly like, there's a lot of skimming off the top by like galleries and stuff. Unfortunately, it's still massively the starving artist trope of like, well, we are selling your art for you, so we'll take 60% of it, thank you very much. So, I think the opportunities are so great that if you want to create art and you want to like increase your opportunities and you just like, and you want to have fun, like, just do it. Just absolutely go for it. Like, I haven't really found any reason to not just dive into it, and like reach out to people. If you need help, reach out to me. I always want to make new friends. If you want to have a chat, just chat to me. But that's what I would say, that it's obviously an incredibly daunting kind of landscape for an artist to kind of come into, because a lot of it is like stereotyped as being like very like tech bros and jargon and this and this, and actually it's not that at all. Like, there's a lot of artists like myself who don't know a whole lot about the technical side of things, but you don't need to, because it's all incredibly easy and accessible, and people are just so nice, and everyone will just help each other. So that would be my thing, is that I understand a lot of people probably have reservations, but to do a little bit of research and to absolutely just dive into it like head on would be my advice.
Nice. Nietta, what do you think? Do you want to jump in on anything?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you have someone in particular, apart from Annie Good Kitty, that you kind of found, as a little bit of a shout out to the community, that really propelled you forward and gave you the support that you needed to make that decision to come in and really smash it out?
Oh, so many people. Boozy, Madam, Eli, Nick, everyone at Gamma, basically.
Yeah.
You guys, obviously. PQ and the artists, the guys that Procrastinate Pixels. I'm definitely forgetting a bunch of people, but they're like, and just everyone who, I don't know, like when I first came into the space, just the amount of positive energy, just anyone who messaged me and like would be like, oh, I like your art. Anyone who like positively interacted is like absolutely the reason that I stayed and that I still create and stuff. And so there's so many, and that's what's so nice, is that there's so many members of the original community, that are still hanging around, and everyone's still so supportive and loves each other, and has like such nice things to say about each other. That, yeah. Oh, and Hero as well, obviously, because I've been irritating Hero for like the past like 2 years. Hero too.
I don't know if Hero ever gets irritated. He's always so cool.
Yeah,
I know.
definitely.
Sorry, yeah, exactly. I just assume that everyone I speak to is like, for God's sake, Grymm, like, shut up. Like, take your ADHD meds and shush. But no, and
we love you.
that's also but that's also the amazing thing, and what I'm hoping I'm like portraying to people is that like there are so many fantastic people. And for every one person that I've named, I've genuinely forgotten about 50, because there's just so many like nice people that look after each other on Stacks, like, and it's just the most amazing community, and I just love everyone so much. So yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
absolutely amazing.
Well, Grymm, yeah. Go ahead, Nietta.
You're right. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I know we need to move forward, but Grymm, before you run off to lunch to celebrate your husband's birthday, could you please pin something up to the top so we have something to check out?
Yes, let me see if I can work out how to do it. I have to, every time I do this, I have to get coached through it. It's like, click the, did I do it? Did it get done? Is it there? I think it's there.
I can see it. Perfect.
Yay! God, I'm incredible. Honestly.
Humility is one of the most important things in the industry, I think.
It's it's my biggest strong suit is how humble I am and just how incredible I am.
Nice. Well, Grymm, thanks so much for sharing a little bit about your background. So everyone do definitely follow up with Grymm. Check out her art. There's so many great pieces on Stacks right now. Everyone, you're new to the ecosystem. My goodness, you are you're still early. There are so many good deals. So many of the artists that are around right now, like they've been publishing work for 1, 2, or 3 years, and you can go find these fantastic pieces and start collecting right now. So anyway, thanks again, Grymm. And Nietta, do you want to introduce our next steward?
Okay. Who do we want to go for next? Well, I know in and out Miss Good Kitty, who's doing the track for music. She is so this is where I get all shy. She is the creator of Bitcoin Collective. She's also creating mixtapes with a number of IRL artists and Web3 artists. Miss Good Kitty, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit further? Miss Kitty. Hello.
Mic was off. I was nattering away with my mic off, as usual. That's my claim to fame. Mic's never on. Yeah, so hi everyone. I am Good Kitty, as Nietta said, founder of the Bitcoin Art Collective and the Stacks Music Project. I write a newsletter under GK Insights, and what else do I do? I'm a Gamma Partner Curator and also a winner of the first cohort of the Stacks DeGrants. So yeah, busy bee in the Stacks ecosystem. And yeah, now I'm the lead steward for the NFT. Look at me now, the lead steward for the NFT program.
Well,
NFTs, yeah.
Definitely earned it. Before we learn more from you about the music side of DeGrants, could you give us a little background into how you stumbled into Stacks?
Yeah, right. So I come from the music industry. I've been working in the music industry in real life for about 20 years now, and transitioned through the sort of major shifts from tape to CD to MP3s and then streaming. So it's been quite a journey going through it, and obviously through the record label deals that artists were offered and how over time they didn't start off great and they became increasingly more eroded. So I work in senior music management. I have a team who sort of book gigs, social media manager, press agent. So I kind of run that situation and then release tracks now through sort of online digital distribution. So really sort of I've always tried to, walked away from the big labels, went into this online sort of world, trying to find new ways to help artists make money. Because, if you look at the current situation with Spotify, artists are earning, I think it's 8% of Spotify's earnings, and you can get millions of streams and not even you won't even be able to buy a sandwich. So it really is dire. And so I got to a point where I thought, listen, there's got to be something. I've been looking for something new. What is the next step? How do we improve the lives of artists? And somebody said to me, look, check out these NFTs. And I started Googling, and I kept going back to Bitcoin because, it is the hardest money. It's the most decentralized. And I just kept thinking in my head, wouldn't it be amazing if you could, and stumbled across Stacks through Boom Wallet and the Boombox. And I was very fascinated with that, probably because it was called Boombox. But and that kind of got me into the Stacks ecosystem, and really just interested in how through NFTs we can improve the lives of artists, and my learnings have shown me that there are many ways to do that. And I'm extremely excited and passionate about bringing that to fruition.
Amazing. So what are your thoughts on musicians coming from the Web 2 space and who are just really familiar with, the only path forward is streaming and being able to buy a cup of coffee or a sandwich every now and then? What is in it for them for this new Web3 space?
Well, if I must be frank, is that they can earn money. That's the primary incentive for them, because they can make great music, but they can't sell it. So when you create a song, I was sitting with an artist the other day, and he's about to release something, and it was just this terribly strange moment when, and even though I know it, it was this crazy moment where it just hit me again. We can't sell this product that you need to invest in to make. Music doesn't make itself for free. It costs a substantial amount of money to create music that, on that level, that's going to be released to Spotify and all those things. So
yeah,
there's no way for musicians to make money. And for me, if you looking at, and you go back, I'm almost trying to, and it's very hard because people have gotten so used to, experiencing music for free and having every piece of music that they want available at their fingertips. But my hope is that we can introduce a little bit of, how it used to be, where people feel pride and, for supporting, for owning a piece of music. And I think for artists to be able to connect directly to their communities, and I think to see new platforms built as well. That's what we need. Every single musician I speak to, well-known musicians who are very successful in Spotify, I tell them about this, and they're just like, look, where can I sign? How can I do this? But the problem is, you can bring all those artists in, but we don't have the platforms that we need to enable artists to sell it properly, and for collectors to be able to consume it properly. So to have a player, to be able to make playlists. So, I think there are a lot of opportunities for them, opportunities for ticketing, selling merch. It's endless, really.
Well said. Nietta, do you want to jump in on anything with Good Kitty?
At the moment she's pretty much covered. I do agree with her the interest of musicians and how difficult it's been in the past for them to be shown or be seen. There's so many times where artists are absolutely amazing but have been shut down by record labels. So yeah, Web3 is definitely a space where so many opportunities And I know Good Kitty is one of the biggest advocates for musos in the Web3 space. So, applaud all the work that you've been doing to create new artists opportunities and guiding them and so forth. Have you got any favorite artists?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. And you're going to probably hear a lot of them on the Stacks music project that's coming out. So, yeah.
Very good.
I know we definitely have a slot on the weekly Wednesday Leather Lounge for you as soon as the time is right and things are ready to roll out, because that's incredible. So in the first DeGrants program, Good Kitty submitted a proposal for the Stacks mixtape project, and it was just perfect timing with the perfect person. So I know much is being built out right now. The anticipation is palpable. I can feel it. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, it's such a pity that it was supposed to be released in June. I got 8 artists, all of them really successful, and I thought, God, I'm going to battle to kind of convince these guys to, write me an original song for a compilation album. And they were just all like, gung ho, I'm in. When do you need the song? So each of them wrote an original track. It's a beautiful album. I'm immensely proud of it. It came together so nicely. And then what I did was I went to 8 OG artists in the Stacks ecosystem, and I asked each of them to create an original piece of artwork that was inspired by the music. So we now have, if you could imagine, 8 tracks, and they each have their own little artwork that you would, for example, see on Spotify next to the song. So we have 8 tracks and 8 artworks. They're going to be combined into an album. And we are going to be selling the album through Gamma later this year. It was supposed to be in June, but with the Nakamoto upgrade being pushed forward to August, we're going to release it early September, I think. But I'm so excited about it, and for everybody to hear it. Nervous but excited.
That's the right place to be.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, GK. I know we've got to check in with Tank for film and Sarah for literature and Keletso for photography. So anything else that you want to connect us to before we move on?
No, I'm all good. I'm happy. I think just to keep, if I can keep directing people to the goodkitty.xyz website, because all the information is there. I've outlined sort of some inspiration for artists looking for inspiration on what to create, what to propose, and the application form will go live on Friday.
Awesome. Thanks again, GK. Thanks. And in general, thanks for everything you've done in the space, because I think you've done more than almost anyone for onboarding quality artists. So thank you again. All right. So we're going to move on to our film steward, and that is Tank Thunderbird. So I can't wait to hear about that name and what brought Tank to the space. But let me give you a little intro here. So Tank is a Berlin-based digital artist specializing in playful spatial 3D design, animation, and digital filmmaking with expertise in Unreal, Blender, and Cinema 4D. Tank blends art and tech in interactive installations, games, and creative ads, exploring vibrant, imaginative worlds. Tank, welcome to the stage. And could you just fill us in on your background in film and how you became involved with the Stacks ecosystem?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the nice introduction. Well, I've been in the Bitcoin ecosystem since 2013. I was brought in by a good friend of mine who's very, I would say, very out there. He was always aware of the newest things, and he got me into 3D printing. He was printing his own musical instruments. And he convinced me to buy a 3D printer and Bitcoin. And I am so grateful to him for that. And since then, I've been following on and off what's happening in the crypto spaces. And of course, when NFTs appeared in the space, being an artist, I was really enthusiastic about it and I wanted to join, but I was immediately overwhelmed. And so I kind of didn't know how to get in, or it wasn't that I didn't know, but I just didn't feel like at home. I didn't feel comfortable with the people or the perspectives or the money grabs or the kind of the scams going on. It was difficult to choose an ecosystem, which chain, what were the costs, what was going to happen to it afterwards, would the chains last? And, I had so many questions and it just seemed so complex. And I just didn't connect with anyone really in any of the spaces in like a deep way. I mean, people were friendly or there were all kinds of things. So I just kind of put it in the back burner and kind of forgot about it. But I kept following different Discord communities and a lot of people from different chains on Twitter. And then one day, I had heard about Stacks like a few years ago, but I didn't, at that time, I didn't know you could do NFTs on it. But I thought it was one of the most exciting projects because, well, I love Bitcoin and, all the potential and all the promises that it holds. So recently, a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I'm not sure, it's very recent that I saw the tweets about the grants and NFTs on Stacks. And that really drew my attention. So I joined the spaces, and it's kind of like I heard Kitty talk, and it was like love at first sight, at first ear,
Mhm.
because just the way that she was framing everything, the way she spoke about it, the way the conversation was being held, the people that were on the spaces, like just the whole thing just felt so right, like just human and open, friendly, artist oriented. So I thought, okay, there's something here that I've been missing all this time, and now I feel like I can jump into the space. So that's how I found Stack.
Great. Well, before we get your thoughts on what NFTs and Web3 means for the film industry, would you mind highlighting some of the film-related projects that you've supported and worked on?
Yeah, so film and I have I don't know what to call it, a yearning relationship, because I grew up in South America and there weren't any film schools, and my parents couldn't really afford a camera when I was interested in it. So I did the next best thing, which was to study art. So I went to art school, and I think it's a fantastic thing to do if you cannot go straight to film school, because you learn so many things that are useful later on. But when I was reaching my graduation time, I realized um, that I didn't really feel at home in the kind of commercial gallery art circles and the whole marketing and networking and all of that. It didn't feel like it was the right medium. And then I had this crazy. I took a break from writing my thesis and ended up running off with a circus. And while I was traveling with them for 3 months, I realized actually I want to tell stories because all the crazy things that happened when I was doing this. And it kind of reminded me, okay, what I really want to do is tell stories and make movies. So I had bought a camera and like a secondhand Super 8 camera, and started filming the circus, trying to document it. And then somebody had like a digital camera. I started using that and taking pictures and documenting everything. I was really excited about it. And then on the last day of the circus trip, on the last show, somebody stole my bag with all the film and all the images that I'd collected. So I kind of went back to finish art school, and I knew that I had to change everything, but I didn't know, like, I still couldn't like really afford to go to film school. So I moved to Sweden and I went into art and technology. And what I did there, they had like interactive installations and interactive video. So that was the way I started to tell stories with video. So I would build like multiple monitor installations. I would do like documentation of people I knew, things about my life, and then I would tell these stories that were like fragmented. So it started more like art installations. And eventually I decided to leave like the art world for a while and went into technology and particularly into video games, which was actually one of the first things I did while I was still in school. I did sound for video games, and it, I realized that I could also learn 3D animation. So that's when I started using game engines and 3D software. So I'm self-taught in that aspect. And I did a lot of work with that. But on the side, I kept doing like art events because I knew a lot of people. So I was still doing a little bit of curating and mentoring on the side for art and technology things, but always trying to sneak into like the more video related aspects of it. And eventually, I realized, okay, you know what? The technology is so advanced now that you can use a game engine to make a whole film. Like it's like a digital film studio. You've got lights, you've got actors, you can build any set that you want. You can even composite it with live video. Um, so I started collaborating with other filmmakers, first like doing little jobs as an extra, then helping with editing, and now I'm doing more like post production for short films here in Berlin. But now I want to start like my own production company making entirely digital films, um, with using motion capture for the acting and things like that. And that's where I am now at the moment.
Wow, amazing. Can't wait to see that. I guess last question before we have to move on is, what is your advice for any other filmmakers to help them create compelling and fundable grant proposals?
Well, there's two things, like there's two ways to go about it. I think there's one where you could propose ideas that are okay. One side is creating the films and creating. I think it's important to have a very clear script. A storyboard would be very helpful, as good as you can make it in terms of clarity of what you're trying to show. What is the vibe? What is the um, not so much, not just the message, which I guess that's in the script, but also the feeling of the film and the impact that it can have visually. So try to show rather than tell, and that's not only in the movie itself, but also in the proposal, to try to give us an impression, like a slice of life, like give us just a small hint of the feeling, because I think films are very much almost like the contemporary opera of our time. So it combines so many different art forms like sound, image, acting, theater, um, storytelling, writing. So it, it's good to be able to kind of give an impression of how all those elements are gonna make your film interesting. How you plan to combine them, or where you're coming from, or what your impact is going to be. And then the other way to come into it, I think, is by doing experiments with the Stacks itself, with the Stacks ecosystem. So I think we've mentioned it a few times. Like Trip is developing this technology of portals, which is interesting for film in the sense that you can immediately kind of code in the royalties of all the participants. So if you do a collaboration with a musician, a camera person, an actor, and whatnot, as soon as these portals are activated as film NFTs, the participants, the co-creators, get the royalties immediately sent to their wallets. So I think collaboration using the Stacks concepts or ideas is also very important. Like if you can find a way to make use of what exists or to bring new ideas on how it would benefit film, that is great. And of course, if you can bring collaborators, that's even better, because film gives us the opportunity to involve more people at once. So we can onboard more people into the Stacks ecosystem. And there's one more thing I wanted to mention. Well, yeah, these are not related so much to the application, but there are some interesting things to say about how Stacks can help the film. Oh, I remember what it was. And if both in, I think, in traditional film funding, like if you want to get money to make your movie, it often helps to have one very good thing, and that is like a good script and a
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
well-known actor. But I think in this case, we don't have to be so particular about that. But if you have one element of your whole proposal that really stands out because it can bring attention to the ecosystem, for example, maybe you know a really interesting musician that is well known, or you have an actor who has a great following and you bring them in. Like all of these things will help you with your film, and it will help us as the Stacks ecosystem to grow into new directions, to open doors to people who have nothing to do with the blockchain or Stacks. That's what I wanted to add.
Wow, that is such good advice, because this is different than, applying for a grant where there's like a small board or people voting on it. This is decentralized. So to that point that you just made, I think it's so smart, because this needs to be a captivating in two ways, right? It needs to have creative, it needs to be robust on a creative level. It needs to be unique. You need to bring in some level of legitimacy and value and vision. But then I love that you articulate the importance of bringing value to the ecosystem, because this is everyone's vote. So that's a very good point to bring up. Well said.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for everyone to build together, the artists and the Stacks developers. So
Nice.
let's use it.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Thank you so much, Tank. Before you have to hop away, if you can, just pin something up to the top. And if you can't, send it to one of us and we will. But thank you again, Tank Thunderbird, for sharing your background and insights into the DeGrants program. So we're going to move on next to Sarah and then Keletso. So let's welcome to the stage Sarah Bolin. And I get so excited when I hear about someone new in the Stacks ecosystem. Chances are, if there's someone new who looks real legit, Good Kitty has their hand. Good Kitty had some part in it. So I'm really excited to check in with Sarah, an accomplished writing coach, an author, and founder of The Writing Room. Sarah guides aspiring writers in crafting compelling narratives through workshops and retreats and one-on-one coaching. So thank you very much, Sarah, for joining the Stacks ecosystem and joining us today.
Thank you. Lovely to be here. And I'm a little nervous that I'm the only person who has their real name. I feel authentic and exposed at the same time.
Makes you stand out even more.
Beautiful.
So yeah, thank you.
I feel a little bit bad now. I have a monkey picture and
and yet we still take you seriously.
My real name really is Good Kitty.
Right. Yeah, sometimes people, when I meet people in real life, they say, "Oh, what's your real name? You're Longstreet, right? What's your real name?" And I say, "My last name is Longstreet. It's not. It's not my it's not my NFT name."
I've met
yeah,
Longstreet has met me though, so I'm real, right? Longstreet.
yes, but you mumbled your name once, and I chose to block it out of my mind. me, you're always hero.
I think I made the mistake. Like it was like new to like in real life events. I slipped it out, and then I quickly realized, yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah, the
Mine's
same thing
just
happened for Boozy, and it
sorry.
just completely. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I met Boozy too, and he told me his real name, and it's just out of my mind completely. I refuse to learn.
But it doesn't stick because we're constantly dealing with our Web3 names. Like mine's only a slight variation to my real name, but I just know in real life that no one can ever pronounce my name. So I thought, oh, for God's sake, I cannot do that in the Web3. I'm going to shorten it.
Nice. Well, Sarah, I'm very excited to learn about what your new Web3 name is going to be eventually. But for now, it's Sarah Bull.
That's it. I'm sitting with it, but I'm really excited to be kind of in the space and working with literature and writers because I think it's a bit of a new exploration in this space. And whereas music and art has had a little bit more exposure, and to see what people come up with, how their stories, how their words, how what they're creating using the written word can be used in a different way and in a modern way and in a cutting edge and exciting way. So I think that's what I'm going to be looking out for in this application process. I am a literary agent as well as being an author and working with authors. I represent authors in the traditional publishing sense. So it's really interesting. And I've been 17 years working in this business and working with people who write books, who write poems, who write screenplays. And to really just start looking out, well, what are the new mediums? And how can authors touch people in a way that maybe outside of print, outside of Amazon, outside of a blogging forum, and what does that look like? And I think I also just want to speak about what it is to write, because when we write and when we create anything, we're speaking to people, we're speaking to a reader. So something to be cognizant of, and people who are going to apply for funding for literature side, is who is your reader, and how do you reach them, and what forum will best reach them. So I come from the traditional side, but we're looking at all these new modalities.
Wow, amazing. So you gave us a little bit of a little teaser there about your experience, as the owner of a publishing house and being a best-selling author. I'm really curious about these writing retreats that you host. Could you tell us a little bit more about those and how they impact the writers who attend them?
Well, I think retreating in any place is a little journey to get away from your ordinary life, and to go somewhere completely different and to withdraw, and to tap into something else. So I am leaving actually in a few days. I'm going to be in Greece. I'm running there's 20 authors coming to Greece, screenwriters, poets, bloggers. And then I'm in Tuscany. And, this incredible thing about a retreat, whether you do it in your lounge, whether you do it in an exotic island, whether you get a little cabin in the woods, is creativity often and very often comes from a place of stillness. It comes from a place of real quiet. So I really encourage people who are diving into what is creativity to shut out a lot of the noise, the ecosystem, that we're in, ecosystem more than eco, just the echo. We're always listening for what other people are creating, and really sit in a place of real quiet and allow their own stuff to bubble up. And retreating does that. In fact, I was last year in a very tiny island of Lamu, and it's my first encounter with an NFT. And I'll tell you how that happened. I had an incredible woman on the retreat, and she was working with NFTs, and she ran a community there. They were fundraising, and she devised a song that her and her community of Rastafarians sang when they were planting their herbs. And she told me that if I wanted to plant a tree back in my garden in Cape Town, I should buy the song, and as I'm planting the tree, play it to the tree, to the land I'm working in. So I did. I bought one of her NFT songs, and I came back to my garden and planted a tree and played the song, which felt very special and magical because I'd taken a piece of some incredible experience and I'd brought it home in a digital format. So I think that digital has a possibility of tapping into a little bit of magic that we can experience in the real world and bringing it into some other space with us, taking it into different spaces. So that was my first ever encounter, and that was a year ago. So I'm a newbie to all of this.
Wow. So I just want to jump in real quick because, well, so much of what you're saying resonates with me. But particularly with, so my background is I'm a musician, composer, music educator. I was really passionate about, classical music and folk music and what led and influenced folk music. And a lot of that was work song. So I'm so curious to hear modern day work songs. Because a lot of people think that they're basically done. So I'm so curious to see this and to hear this NFT. I think that's really powerful. So yeah, that's such a cool use case and a great story about getting started with NFTs too.
Yeah, and it's my entry, and I'm looking forward. And I was brought in by Good Kitty, who found me through my work with writers, and I hope as well that it's also to bring a little bit of excitement and rigor. I like a little bit of rigor in the application process. I think you've got to work quite hard to get funding, and you've got to have a really good idea. So. And writing is the domain of good ideas. It's how we take things and bring them down into words, and words become so important. So how can people use their words in ways that inspire us to grant them the funding, inspire people to buy what they are offering, because that is part of what's really going on here to create this economy, and find the right people to buy what you have to offer.
Well said. Yeah, you know what, the common question that we have today in most shows is, what can Web3 offer to like Web2 people? But when you say how important rigor is, that makes me think that, that's something valuable that Web2 people that we need to bring into Web3 is this concept of rigor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just really looking for ideas that are going to take this into the next evolution. Really, I know people, and I know some of my authors are minting some of their chapters of their books. So there's things happening out there, but I think it's a bit of an open field with literature, and there are things coming that can monetize it and take money directly to the creators. Outside of the traditional models. And let's see what those are.
So I'm curious what your thoughts are on what the advantages of NFTs, digital collectibles, are in this space of book writing and publishing. And also if you could talk about what your advice is for anyone else who's inspired and looking to improve their writing skills, coming up with, concept design and taking that through to the final concept. Yeah, what's your advice for someone with the lens of breaking into like the Web3 space?
Yeah, so there are so many traditional and established ways for writers to put stuff out there in ordinary spheres. People can get published in this day and age. There's Amazon, there's self-publishing, there's blogging, there's lots of ways to go out there. So I think the interesting thing in this space is how is it going to be a little bit different? I am not convinced it is long form. So by long form, I mean books, because we're looking at shorter stuff, right? We're looking at short form writing, which is, it could be a chapter, it could be a poem, it can be a short screenplay. something along those lines. And I don't have as many ideas as I should have. So I'm really looking for those from the people who are going to be applying. And it's a changing, writing and publishing and being bought as an author or a writer is a really changing field. Um, we used to have a benchmark where you had to be published. There had to be somebody who said, Penguin or whatever, you're great. We're going to put you out there. There isn't that. You can say I'm great and I'm going to put myself out there. So the kind of golden standard is, well, do you have a product that anybody wants to buy or read? And I really like that as a little bit of a benchmark for for good ideas, because good ideas are great, but is there somebody listening? Is there somebody buying? Is there somebody else who buys into what you're saying? And that really is about audience. It's about, is there somebody who wants to read? Is there an audience for your product? Is there somebody who says, yeah, that's really interesting? So I think that's the kind of golden standard with all these things, is you're not shouting into a void, you're shouting at real people. And you want to touch them, touch their heart. So what is it that's readable? What is it that's watchable? What is actually collectible? So I think people should think on that when they start to think, how do I put words out into the space?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm excited for the value and insights that you're bringing to the DeGrants program. So also, thanks, Good Kitty, for bringing some more talent in here. Anything else that you want to close with, Sarah? Where can people connect with you? How can we read some of the work that you've published and see anyone else who is on your radar?
Yeah, you can you can find me at thewritingroom.co.za, or internationalwritingretreats.com. And you can find all you need. So you can find mentorships there. You can join a retreat, or just get kind of advice really on what you want to work on.
Nice. Well, I'm curious if you ever make it to the Loire Valley in France, because I just recently relocated from LA to France. So I think it's a perfect area out here for some retreats because it's quiet, and I've been finding a lot more quiet space out here compared to LA, understandably.
Sounds wonderful. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Sarah. And with that, we're going to move on to, well, actually, Nietta, I want to check in with you. Would you like to introduce our last steward today?
Absolutely. Introducing the beautiful Keletso. She's a geologist and a nature photographer from South Africa and based in Ireland currently. She has collections on both Gamma and OpenSea, and these artworks and photography are absolutely amazing. Her work through photography captures the natural elements such as landscapes, wildlife, natural scenes, and textures. Hello, Keletso. So happy for you to be here again. I hope you're all stable now with your line. So
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, I've
I
got
can hear.
flu, so my voice is a bit weird today.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you sound
Oh, great.
fantastic. How are you been?
I'm good. Good. Just came back from a camping trip over the weekend, so I'm good.
Beautiful.
Came back with the flu, but I'm well.
Oh, great. I would like to thank you for joining us today. And would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got started on Stacks?
Yeah, like you said, I am Keletso. I am a geologist by profession, but also love photography, especially nature photography. I've been doing photography for a while now, and it all started because of my studies in geology. So as part of my geology studies, we used to go on field trips for like 2 weeks. So just camping and hiking and doing some geological mapping. And as part of that, you would take photos of like different rock types and geological features that you would then use as part of like writing a report after the field work. And at that time, I think I was just doing it because I had to do it for schoolwork. But eventually, it kind of like grew into me. And I moved to Ireland in 2019. And when I moved here, I started taking photos as a way of sharing I suppose, my new life with my family and close friends back home. So it was a way of me just documenting my life and sharing that with my loved ones. So it was just a hobby, really, up until 2019. No, 2021, when the whole NFT hype was happening. Two of my friends who have been in the space for quite a long time, they've been in the crypto space for quite a long time. They started telling me about like Stacks ecosystem, and at that time I was also like, just like Sarah, I was exploring the different um, blockchains and trying to find one that will align best with myself and my personality and the kind of work that I do. Um, and yeah, and one of my friends then introduced me to the Stacks ecosystem, and I liked how calm it was and how like overall friendly it was, as a chain compared to all the other ones. I find the other ones to be quite overwhelming, quite saturated. There was just too much noise, and I just couldn't handle it. It was not aligning with my personality and the kind of laid back life that I prefer. So I find it quite overwhelming. So when I joined the Dex ecosystem, I found it to be quite a match made. So it was good. And yeah, I've stuck to it since then.
Beautiful. I love how you say that there was a lot of noise. I know coming from an artist's perspective that some of the other blockchains can be very hectic and very overwhelming. And in your transition into Stacks is such beautiful, where you acknowledge like how calm it is and how supportive it is, and it really gives you the opportunity to show your artwork and really be your artwork in the Stacks environment, and really get that feel for it and feel confident, even if you're not really highly like one of those people. Like I know a lot of artists are still quite shy and reserved, and not used to exposing themselves in that way, and art is a very personal thing. So yeah, I love how you transitioned into Stacks. Love hearing that story. What's one of the biggest differences or noticeable differences in how you work or present your work in IRL versus presenting it in Web3 for you?
I think because I was not really much involved in photography in the real like world outside of it just being a hobby and just taking photographs that I'll share with my family and friends. I don't really have that much experience in terms of doing photography in the real world, quote unquote. So I only started exploring photography as like just beyond a hobby when I joined the NFT space. So outside of my work just being featured in different galleries or like in real life exhibitions,
Mhm.
I don't really have that much experience in terms of trying to market my work in the real world, or outside of like the Web3 space. Um, so yeah, but I do know, like I've spoken to some of the friends that I've made in this space who are also photographers, and they've spoken about how just getting the exposure in the real world can be quite difficult, and how just finding people who will resonate with your kind of work can be difficult in the real world. But I also think it's still this kind of like similar to the issues that you face in the Web3 in terms of finding collectors or just individuals who resonate with the kind of photography work that you do, especially considering how saturated the space is.
Mhm.
So I think it's still a reflection of the same issues that people tend to face in Web3 are also a reflection of the issues that are faced in the real world, but probably not as intense as in the real world.
Well, I know that I've been collecting your work since day one, I think, because I'm looking at some of your collections on Stacks, and they really go back to, let's see, a lot of your work is, okay, I'll just give the names here. So recently it's, a lot of seascapes. Before that, you have a collection called the Bosphorus Strait, and I see some bird. bird pictures and photography, and a lot of your work it's not just saturated. I'm curious to hear from you about this. Like, how do you saturate your images, and what's your technique?
I try to not over edit my work, and I try to just make like my life simple. Because I'm a nature photographer, or at least I focus more on nature photography and wildlife. I find that it's an easier way of capturing things compared to like portrait photography, where you feel like you have to edit so much for it to portray what you want. I find nature to be like the best muse ever, that it doesn't really require you to do too much editing. So I just use Lightroom, but I don't really try to manipulate the pictures way too much. It's just never been my thing.
Yeah, it looks natural and just like minimally edited in Lightroom.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your advice on other photographers coming into the space, and anyone who wants to take their work to the next level or who has some sort of project in mind? What's your advice for drafting proposals for photographers?
I'd say be true to yourself. Don't fall into like the space of trying to cater to a specific type of collectors or like a specific type of audience. I think authenticity is always rewarded in the long run. I know when I started off in the NFT space, because it was so hectic in the space and like there was so much going on, I found myself kind of trying to see what other people were doing and trying to see how I can end up not necessarily copying, but like letting that influence the kind of work that the kind of photography work that I was doing. And I had to step back and think of why I even got into photography to begin with. And for me, there's always been a form of self-expression or a form of documenting my way through life. And for me to be able to do that, I have to be authentic to myself, and not focus on things that don't really resonate with who I am and don't represent who I am. And I wouldn't be proud of that work living like, beyond my age on the blockchain. So be true to yourself, do what feels right to you. So yeah.
Nice. I was just looking through your collection, and the second one you released is just a one image collection called Lovebirds, and that is sitting beautifully in my wallet. I love looking at it.
Thank you. I remember that you collected one of I think it was the first collection that I released, the Dinonyana collection, like the birds collection. You're one of the people who collected in that in my first collection. So thank you.
Of course, yeah. Well, I'm excited to see, what you continue to do in the space and how you keep supporting other photography. There's a couple photographers, rolling around. People come and go sometimes. It's definitely, the first time around we had a nice little group of photographers that were creating and releasing on Stacks, but some people left. But there's a good group of us who have stuck around. So I think photography in the space is so important. So I'm glad you stuck around and that you are continuing to support the community, and now with the DeGrants program.
Thank you. I do know there's also quite a number of photographers from like different parts of Africa who've been in the space for quite a while, and some of them are also exploring the Stacks ecosystem at the moment. So hopefully, through the DeGrant program, we'll probably end up seeing some of them joining the Stacks ecosystem. So
yeah, I hope so. Well, we're coming to an end, but if let's just open up the floor for another 5 minutes or so. If anyone wants to jump up and ask any questions of anyone who's still here on stage, I know some of the artists and stewards had to leave, but if anyone wants to jump up on stage and ask some questions, Hero, do you have anything? I can always pass it to Hero because he's
I'm
reliable
just
and
gonna
always here.
let Stacksy speak. But yeah, no,
Perfect.
Hi,
I just
everyone.
loving the
Yeah,
conversation.
sorry, I was coming up, but I couldn't hear if you said something.
Good morning, good evening.
No, go.
Hey, Good Kitty. Yeah, I just wanted to say Good Kitty helped me a lot with my launch for my first NFT collection, and I'm actually going to launch it this week. I decided not to wait anymore and not procrastinate anymore. And I've been calling her for advice, like on how to set it up on Gamma and what's best to do. And yeah, I'm just super grateful for that information. It really helped me a lot. And I'm happily going to do that to anyone who reaches out to me now, since I know the process. And just speaking about photography just now, actually, my first NFT collection will be photography combined with digital art on top to make it look out of this world, like cosmic themed, whatever. So yeah, I'm super scared to actually launch it. But I thought after months of waiting, it's time to stop looking for the perfect timing and just do it, because otherwise this can go on forever.
Well said. Yes. Progress, not perfection. Got to move on.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist, so it's hard.
I just want to say congratulations. I'm so happy that it's come together and that you're going to be putting it out. I can't wait. So congratulations, Stacksy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I actually, I'm just happy to finally do that, so I can start posting my real art, because more I kind of catered to the community and to the Stacks ecosystem. So I wanted to do something related to my online persona, together with the Stacks logos and more relatable stuff to our ecosystem. And after that, only once I am like kind of a proper artist on chain, I want to actually start submitting and showing my real art that I'm doing my whole life just as a hobby. So yeah, I just want to get to that stage as well.
You also just recently I saw that you opened up a online store for the Welsh community and so forth. Is that correct?
I did actually that I did in January, so a long
Okay.
time ago. But yes, it's the official merch store for Welsh.
Yep.
And if anyone's interested, I can link it down below. And I also like bring out collections there, NFT related and other Stacks ecosystem projects, and yeah, just having fun with it.
Fantastic. I might actually speak to you about that, because we have some work that we're doing with Rue, so the Rue coin. So yeah, definitely might be speaking to you about that. So because Rue and
yeah, I can definitely launch a Rue collection there
excellent.
as well.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Nice. I do love hearing about the Welsh community too. They're so strong and supportive. And yeah, for anyone who is unfamiliar and listening, do check out the Welsh community. They are doing 100 days of giveaways right now, and they're partnering with Leather. So we're definitely all supportive on the Leather side as well. So yeah, big shout out to the Welsh community.
Thanks so much for the shout out. We appreciate your support actually a lot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's so much happening there. Well, GK, let's see. Before we wrap it up, does anyone else, any other stewards want to jump in and say anything else? Did we forget anything important? What else should we mention before we close out today?
I actually had something on the previous space today, the DeGrants space, that we kind of spoke briefly about. So I don't know if that's Hero. Is that the right space to speak about things like that?
Yeah, this space and also Thursday. Actually, right after this, we got something called Stacks Advocate Space, which is basically led up by Gordon as well. And that space is, I think, bring it up in both sides just so that it plants a seed in everybody's mind. So yeah, this space if you want to bring it up. But yeah.
Oh my god, it's such a space day today, huh?
Definitely
Crazy. Yeah, so I was speaking about like projects reaching out to me for help with graphics and stuff, which I love doing, obviously, but I've been doing it now a lot for Welsh, obviously voluntarily, and at some point I'm thinking that like us as creators, like we're spending so much time, and we're doing it obviously to just to help and for Stacks to benefit and to grow our ecosystem. So I was kind of thinking maybe we could set up some type of ambassadorship or ambassador program for the creators to at least get a little bit rewarded for our time as we are doing this really nonstop. And yeah, like, and just asking you as artists as well, what you're thinking about this and how we should maybe do that.
Wow.
Like,
I love that you even brought that up. That's an amazing question to be or something to be bringing up. Like, as an artist, I've been doing very similar stuff. I've been really blessed in the space to be receiving funding from Stacks Australia through the grants that we received for the cohort. So but that's not the case with all artists. But there's other works that I'm doing that have just been for the love of it and to build the community and create exposure for myself. So I think creating a fund or some kind of something that allows artists to make some return working for the community is absolutely 100% brilliant, because it actually, all the different fields do take work, but when you're developing characters or mascots or logos or branding, it's not like just a logo alone is about 15 hours if you're doing it properly. So that's a lot of hours outside of your day job that's not being accounted for. So I think 100% agree. Definitely an action that needs to be taken.
yeah, and I want to say, like, for example, in Stacks, like, everyone's building and the devs and everyone, they're like full-time employed, but no one really sees our work, and we're here like literally 24/7 on Twitter trying to get the word out, making graphics and designing stuff to reach more people.
Absolutely.
And they don't even kind of know about us and that we exist and that we contribute. So
And it's definitely a skill set, because yes, there's devs and they are getting paid, and they're doing the work, but the skill set with behind the marketing and the visuals is so important for a brand. Like, logo is one thing, but understanding how to market it, how to use colors, how to get response through emotion, all of that part is so massive with a brand. And yeah, we've got all these sites like Canva and so forth that you can mass produce, little tiles and so forth. But there's certain aesthetics that, unless you're experienced with it or have done the work, you don't know the placement of certain parts and text and borders and so forth. So you can really tell the difference between really high quality marketing material versus someone that's put it on Canva most of the time, in my opinion.
I'm a Canva girl.
I use it too. Don't worry, I use it too, because sometimes it's just a hell of a lot easier than to worry about pulling out the Adobe different variations of the programs and so forth. So I have that little quick start thing, but there's other things that you just can't do on Canva. Hero, you have something to say?
I will admit I'm a Canva boy. Yeah. First
I'm
of all,
not knocking Canva, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Canva. I think it's a brilliant
no,
little
no, no.
tool.
I'm very proud. I wear my badge. I cannot be as creative as you guys, but I can attempt to have my little toy of creativities. I'm happy with that. I wear that on my badge. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, but what I really want to say is, I think it's great, and I don't know, because something just jumped to my mind. Like, in the developers track, what they're doing is they're having some kind of mentorship stuff where they can elevate the, say, the beginner developer or a midweight developer, if you like, to like connect with the heavyweight developer, if you like, or junior to intermediate, a medium weight. So I was thinking, like, oh, just while you were speaking, like, could it be like not only like, recognizing and rewarding those people doing the work, but also adding some layers of education into this, or mentorship program where we are actually upscaling each other, you know? and teach other about these color stuff or whatever. Build that into the program, and then I think by doing that, it will become a more like a community of educating each other, helping each other to elevate each other, and recognizing each other. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think
You like complex stuff, huh, Hero?
Well, we just gotta make it more than just like rewarding. Rewarding is just like layer one, right? And how do you? And also, I'm thinking like, what could be a good sell to not sell, but like how would foundation perceive? Because I know the foundation people there, and I kind of know what they kind of liked and don't like, or so I'm just thinking like this could make that simple reward program much more easier sell, for the lack of better word, like and it actually is beneficial to the people who want to upskill each other, and it's actually rewarding for the people who teaching the the junior people or the whoever want to learn. And like Boozy got this like color thing that he learned through Ordinal's project, the piece of ninja. Like, could he shed some light with that kind of stuff and upscaling all the artists in the space? But yeah, same can be said for each sort of mini track within NFT.
you're definitely right, because there's one aspect of and even Grymm brought it up earlier, like I could be quite similar as well, where artists are saying, "Oh, I just don't know the tech." Yeah, but there's always someone else can do it, and that's fantastic. But it would be really, really great, because our minds aren't always technical, being a creative being, that we could have that advocate where someone walks you through. Because, like, as a visual learner, having all these textbooks, kind of, or GitHub and so forth, it does my head in. My brain just doesn't work in that level. But and there's not enough YouTube videos on what we're doing still in the current time. So definitely, if someone's already done it, and can walk a few through, then that allows those artists to show the next generation and the next people that are coming in. So I think that is absolutely, again, another great idea and something worth looking into.
And because like it will make all these different ambassadorship program. I've seen quite a few, but I think it's very sort of basic level. So if we can build a better ones than them, I think it makes us stand out, and just like a higher quality program than simply like incentivizing program. Right? It's not just about if we can build a layer on top of incentivizing, like start off the incentivized layer maybe, but how can we
Yeah.
make it sustainable and actually getting people to collaborate? Because when you connect with your mentor per se, you are building a relationship, you're building that connection, and yeah, I just think this is you are encouraging collaboration as well.
Hmm. Longstreet, do you have anything to add?
No, it's been a really great conversation with everyone so far. I'm thinking about how things have already evolved in the DeGrants program between cohorts 1 and 2. There's already, I know the pot has doubled from 25K to 50K, and I feel like the talent pool has doubled at least as well. And I know that there are a lot of really talented, hardworking people who are basically like donating so many hours, like Stacksy said, so many hours a day to, to this ecosystem that they love. And it's not just about, making money. It's about something more. So it's really inspiring to see how this is evolving. And I just can't wait to see, what next year is going to look like. And for the stacks, the playlist, the mixtape, there's so many cool projects happening. So I'm excited. Lots of good things happening.
And I will just throw in quickly, talking about artists and branding and all of that stuff. Anybody that is in the console chat when it comes to branding and so forth, we really need to make some decisions on what the branding for DeGrants is. So if you're there, hero, yes, to stop laughing. We really need to get to some decisions in order to move forward and do what we need to do in the next week or so before June. So yeah, if you're in there, read it up, have a look at what's going on, what the artwork's being created, and give your opinions on which line of marketing we want to go.
Yeah, just to add quickly to that, whoever feels like they have who feel comfortable making a decision. I think everybody can contribute. Not like if you want to lead that up. If you feel comfortable making a decision, just someone needs to make that the final decision and can be the go-to person we can look up to and just make that decision because I think it's not going to be end of it. We're going to continue to evolve, but we just need a quick decision this week so that we can roll the first version out
Yep.
for all across the D ground and also the subsection of the D ground, each track for each track to work with, so that we can have a launch party next
Yep.
Tuesday, and all the Twitter spaces can have the same branding, recognizable branding. So we are recognized as a credible organization, if you like.
100%. I think isn't Gordon kind of leading the overall scenario with DeGrants?
I don't think so. So
No?
I've suggested like either you or Photok in charge of that. I think
Oh
Gordon will
no,
just go
as
with
in the
whatever
market.
you say.
Photo's definitely in charge of the marketing overall. So that's his. I've been, obviously he reached out to me in DMs to ask my thoughts because of my experience with marketing and branding and so forth. So I kind of came up with some suggestions, and yeah, now it's up to the two different styles, and we go and just about people putting their two bobs worth in, and then over.
I would say maybe if I were to make a actionable suggestion
Mhm.
between you and Photok, make a decision. Like we will go with whatever you guys say
Okay.
because you guys are the experts. We trust you guys.
Mhm.
Like all other tracks are happy to go with whatever.
Mhm.
Developers came up with the idea of a sort of a sub brand of them, like a more like developer sketch kind of memeing art
Mhm.
sort of. But yeah, like whatever you guys apply on the top level, we can start like having branches of it. So just you and Photok make a decision, and then we'll run from there. So if I would suggest like you and Photok just make a decision by tomorrow, and
Yep.
then we're all good.
That sounds fine. Okay. Anything else that anybody wants to contribute or add to the conversation?
I just want to say thank you so much to the both of you for such a great show this evening. I really loved it, and I feel so proud of the stewards that we've gotten on board here to help us build the NFT track out. I think each one of them are just brilliant in their fields. So I'm very excited to work with them and to see where we can take this this funding program this time.
Fantastic.
So yeah, thank you, Longstreet. Thank you, Nietta. It's been a lot of fun just sitting back and listening.
And thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much for the
Longstreet, you got to get used to we talk over each other quite often.
it's the normal thing. This is the Twitter Spaces way, or X Spaces, as I'm trying to say.
And I do apologize. It was started quite early for me, so I was a bit rough to start with, and my coffee hadn't kicked in at 4 a.m. in the morning. So appreciate your patience.
That's a good way to start your morning, honestly.
A bit rough.
Oh, well, I meant with this group of people, but I mean, who doesn't start their morning run?
No, all good.
Stacksy, just wanna. I don't want. I don't. I don't want you to have to keep running to different spaces, but we will be actually talking about the topic that you brought up. Just right after this space, there's a Stacks Australia space. Who Gordon is leading up the community and governance track, and he's got much. He's got like a lot of passion for wanting to make sure what quote unquote Stacks advocates thing is a bit like Stacks ambassador program, but we call it advocates here.
Mhm.
But that's sort of we're trying to revive that better. And so if you're interested in joining that conversation to bring your point up, but I understand if you cannot, but we will bring it up on behalf of you after this at three o'clock ET. Yeah.
Is it gonna be right after? Like
Yeah,
when?
right after this in 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll come.
And yeah, Gordon is like the advocate of advocates. Like he's like a
Yeah,
little
he's
machine.
super passionate about this topic.
Oh,
Just let you know. Like he's leading up the community and governance track, and he is all about empowering the community as well.
absolutely.
Awesome.
On that note, I think we should finish off because I'm part of the Stacks Australia group and I'll be starting at the other space in 15 minutes and I'd love to grab another coffee. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody for coming. Good Kitty, you beautiful, beautiful woman. Longstreet, I really enjoyed co-hosting with you. Thank you very much.
Me too, Nietta. Thank you so much.
Great. So
Netta, can I bring up super last comment or a question for everybody on
absolutely.
the speaker panel?
It wouldn't be a space
So there
without you
was an
doing
idea.
that.
There was an idea from Grymm earlier, like a couple of weeks ago, on like like Stacks Ladies Coding Club. Um, well, she said she want to learn, and Aztec was like, "Okay, I'll offer you, my time and stuff like that." Is anybody interested in joining that thing? Is there interest in that? If yes, I
I
think we
think
could
there
make
is.
that as a proposal where the group, like the mentors, the ladies, it's all ladies group, like learning about coding and all that
Yeah,
jazz.
I definitely think it is. I think it's a timing thing because I know the next month for a few of us, especially those who are involved with Gamma, um, and got lots of different projects on, that we'd have to time it well. And expect we're not devs, so if we are artists, so some patience would be required in order. But I think, yeah, that I know of about 2 or 3 definitely that want to get involved, at least to do our own smart contracts or so forth. But I would assume that you would want more than just 2 or 3 people. Okay.
Well, let's keep asking in our like sort of ladies groups and all that stuff, and see if we can pull together, a couple of girls, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest in it.
100%. I think it
Because
just
I
needs
think
some
it can
time.
be submitted as a proposal to one of the tracks, and that's why I'm bringing it up.
Right.
And
Okay.
obviously that probably could be to go towards the mentors. I'm just gonna maybe submit it as a, I'm not taking any money from this, but I'd like to propose to the community if something that we can kickstart, and then just like upskill all the ladies and have a good space for ladies to learn.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. On that note, are we
All
good?
right, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. It's just been, like I said, it's been great listening to the stewards. Thanks, Longstreet and Nietta, for chatting to them all. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed it. I think we've got some lovely new people as well that are in the ecosystem that are hopefully going to bring some really interesting conversation and ideas and inspiration. So yeah, I think we've got a lot to look forward to.
Definitely, yeah. It was great to catch up with Keletso, Sarah for literature, and I know everyone knows what you're working on. Good Kitty with the music, and it was fascinating to talk with Tank and Grymm as well. And I also just want to one more time, direct everyone to your website, goodkitty.xyz, for more information on the Stacks DeGrants funding program, and checking in every week, at least once a week. Good Kitty, you're on Spaces.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this Tuesday, 2 p.m., we're here every week. So, yeah. And you're always welcome, Longstreet. I love those dulcet tones as you ask your questions.
Yeah. I'd like to chime in whenever I can. It's been a wild transition over the last year, as we've been moving to France, but now I've been getting so much out of being able to spend more time in the community. And Wednesday and Friday I always have blocked off at 1:30 on Wednesdays, 1:30 p.m. Eastern for Leather Lounge, and then I also join Brandon from Trust Machines and Leather every Friday for Good for Bitcoin. So yeah, there's always happening, and I'm always looking to Hero for the latest in the weekly schedules for everything happening in this space and on X Spaces. So thanks, Hero, for holding down the fort and keeping everything so organized. Hero is taking his 5-minute break that he gets twice a day. Well, thanks again, everyone.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody. Catch you in the next space.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.